This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed. They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, alrighty. Good morning, boys and girls. Let's see. I think I got to go this way, right? A little bit more that way to get a little bit more centered. There you go. Now you got the target on the left, the target on the right, or the target right in the middle. I don't know, whatever you want. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes. Anyway, good morning, one and all. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. We are here at Top Gun Indoor Range, as you can tell. We are here. We're in bay number 2, because bay number 1, when they open up, they'll be active in that room. So you can be active yourself out here at Top Gun. So come on out and join us. Remember, on the 31st of this month, Wednesday, January 31st, we're going to have our first Big O radio show. It's the Big O Top Gun Challenge is what it is. So we're going to have prizes and giveaways. Everybody that participates in the shooting contest will get a Big O t-shirt. So come on out, join us here at Top Gun Indoor Range, man. We're going to have some fun, man. We're going to have a lot of fun. So that'll be at 7 o'clock in the evening. So that way work is done, everything's slowed down, and you can come on out. It's right off of the Turnpike in 120th. Really easy to get to, actually. So come on out and join us this Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, this month, Wednesday, January 31st at 7 p.m. here at Top Gun. Come on out and see Steve and all the great people out here at Top Gun, man. They do a really nice job out here, and good place also to purchase, your weapons and your safes and bows and arrows and all kinds of holsters, anything that you need, any kind of accessories. They've got them here for you at Top Gun Indoor Range. So we'll be out here for a couple of hours, and if you happen to be in the area, you come on out. They'll bring you into Bay 2 to come on out and hang out with us and meet, take a picture, whatever, talk in between breaks, those kind of things. So if you're in the, Kendall area, Cutler Bay area, Pinecrest area, Cutler Ridge, West Kendall, we're right there. We're right in the middle of all of that stuff. So come on out and join us here, as we say, at Top Gun Indoor Range. There he is, locked and loaded. Let's get to a little basketball. Let's talk with Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
There you go, Ira. See, I'm at a gun range, so people can take shots at me now. See, that's.
But I like that one of the targets over your right shoulder is green. So for the Heat, it's like shooting at the Celtics. So
right.
Maybe it'll help improve sales.
Yeah, that's actually, it works. It works, definitely. I like that. Take down a leprechaun. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. Now, would it be worse if the name Paul Pierce was on there? I don't know, but I'll leave that. Maybe we shouldn't go there.
Yeah, no, but we need a wheelchair in that picture, actually, in order to do that, if we're going to be. Speaking of wheelchairs, do we need a lot of wheelchairs for the injury report tonight for the Miami Heat?
You know what? It's finally getting better. The only two rotation players out are Jaime Jaquez Jr. with that groin injury, and we certainly can talk about that. He's played so many minutes for a rookie after a college season. God bless him. Let him take time off. And you know what, Kevin Love with the knee bruise, when you get a guy 34, 35 years old, he's going to miss time. But if you were to tell me after all the Heat's injuries that the only rotation players who are going to be out tonight are Kevin Love and Jaime Jaquez Jr., I would take that. Jimmy Butler playing, not even on the injury report. Kyle Lowry listed as available. Tyler Hero available. And like I wrote in the Sun Sentinel today, only 9 times this season have Hero and have Butler and have Adebayo played together. We need to see this, Big O. Because winter is coming. The February 8th trading deadline is coming. We need to know, is this the best possible group? Did they need support? Did they need another leading man? These games really do matter.
Yeah, but what's not on the horizon, at least with the Heat, can you ever predict what Riley's ever going to do? No. But is the major move on a rise, or is it more of an addition to try to round out the roster? Because I almost get the feeling that the major move is really not what's on the table.
I just don't think you disturb a chemistry that took you to the NBA Finals last year, that is yet to be whole enough this year. I think you and I can go through various aspects of the Heat and say, hey, they need another bruising big man, like when they brought in Dwayne Dedmon, didn't necessarily work. When they brought in Zeller, but a big body up front, I would agree with that. A speed point guard, so quick guards can't get around Kyle Lowry like they are right now, or Josh Richardson, who's gotten older. I agree with that also. I think an ancillary move. We've seen the names, the Siakams out there, the DeJounte Murray. Here's the deal. If you take on a big salary, you're moving a big salary. Right. Are we ready to move off of Tyler Hero? Number 2, I do believe because of the way the luxury tax is, the 2 tiers now on the apron, the Heat's lack of first-round picks, your next move could be your only big move for quite a while, probably for the last 2 years of Jimmy's contract. So I have no issue with that. So if someone tells me the final piece for the Miami Heat is DeJounte Murray and they're fine for the next 5 years, then go for it. I don't think that's the case. And you know what? I'm going to do this basically to make sure I continue to get accurate Pembroke Pines reports for the next 2 or 3 years. But I think you almost wait on Luka Doncic and see what's happening there in Dallas. Now, I know you're going to go to me, Ira, don't do this to us. Let's not have another year of the great hope and what's going to happen. But the one thing about Pat Riley, no matter his age, he's always gone for the ultimate top of the list player. Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, even Jimmy Butler, Chris Bosh. So I know Heat fans, you're going to throw some names. Does DeJounte Murray make the Heat better? Sure. You can make that argument.
Well, what are you giving up is the thing.
And not only what you're giving up now, but once you give up your draft capital, you can't do that 2 or 3 first-round picks together.
Right.
So I think the next major move, maybe, God bless him, the last major move of the Pat Riley era, I think will be a move that'll be in line with the names of Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, and Jimmy Butler. Pat is going to go big one final time, and I'm not sure the names we're currently hearing are big enough.
That's why a Doncic, that's different. That's as big as it gets, actually. So I understand that, but DeJounte Murray, see, because I'm at a point, as you know already, I'm not big on extending Jimmy. I'm actually big on the youth movement, because what's developed is that Jaquez is the shit, and now Jovic is like now turning into it also. So all of a sudden, my youth movement, led by Tyler and Bam, along with Jaquez and Jovic, and then you're going to have a first rounder. And so I have faith that you could find another player that you can actually help and develop. So I kind of like the depth and the way you're going with the youth movement at this point in time. And there isn't that, that one piece that's out there that's going to put you to the top. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? And so for me, I'd rather go with the youth movement and let the rest of the contracts expire. Let the Jimmy contract expire. Obviously, if you can move the Kyle Lowry for something that isn't going to, burn you for
down the road. Right.
Yeah. But if you're going to rent a player also or something like that for this year and maybe next year or something, then yeah, that's fine. I get it. But outside of that, I would like to see you kind of turn over the roster and have that youth movement and have a little bit more cap flexibility.
And I spoke to someone who's familiar with the situation. We spoke about DeJounte Murray versus Tyler Hero. He said, look, you can make an argument in some aspects DeJounte's better, but I damn well wouldn't throw another sweetener in. Look, Atlanta gave up 3 first-round picks to San Antonio for DeJounte. They want to get back capital. They want a player. They want draft capital. I'm not trading any +1 with Tyler Hero. One, I want my +1s down the road. Big O, I think you hit on it. If I can move Kyle Lowry's contract, I'm probably going to put a name out there that you'd like to keep in Caleb Martin, but he might leave this offseason as a free agent.
Yes.
So if you think you're going to keep Hayward Highsmith instead of Caleb, so you might say, okay, and we're going to give up 3 months of Caleb Martin because we're probably going to lose him anyway, and you get a player in the final year of a contract, or with, let's say, 2 years left on his contract before you get to the Jimmy extension window, the end of his contract. Yeah, I would do something like that. But you have to play chess instead of checkers here, not only for this season, for down the road. And there's a couple of reasons there why. Look, I know that he can beat the Celtics in a playoff series. I've seen it often enough. But the Celtics are much better this season than the Heat. They just are. They just are. I think you have to agree there. He can win a series. The Denver Nuggets are much better than the Heat right now based on last year's finals and where they are. So I like the Heat as a puncher's chance. Always have. Never going to doubt them in any series. But I'm not so sure that this is the moment that you go all in right now. I think this is a moment that you have to say, hey, we'll do our best, but let's not, like you said, handicap our future. And so you have to play both sides of it. And I think for as much as people point to Pat Riley's age, he's always done that. He's always kept the moment in perspective, but Pat has also kept the long view.
And the thing is, if I'm the Heat, the one thing that I look at with my roster is I'm kind of setting myself up here, because all of a sudden now I've hit on Jaquez. I'm developing Jovic. I have Caleb. By doing this, I've also alleviated the burden of building with Bam and Tyler saying, oh, they're the end-all be-all. They got to carry us. No, now I've taken some of the scoring burden off those guys, because I've developed a couple of other guys now, and now I have a supporting cast around Tyler, around Bam. And so I really like the direction the Miami Heat are going, post Jimmy, post Lowry. The other thing that I like is that Jaquez has leadership qualities to him too, on top of all of that. I haven't learned enough about Jovic yet, but I do love his skill set is what I love, and how he's growing. You know what I mean? So I just kind of love the way the youth movement is going. And I really like now what we have for the future as a foundation. And if you can find, if you find that one star for those young guys,
go
oh
for
my
it.
God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Go for it. But what I wrote today at the Sun Sentinel, I just posted, it'll be in your doorstep tomorrow, is the Heat now also have their glue guys, which are really important in today's NBA. Caleb Martin spoke to me. He said, it used to be go out, get 2 or 3 stars, and you're going to be great. And then you looked at the Lakers with Westbrook and with Davis and with LeBron and even what the Lakers have now. And you realize if you don't have those glue guys, and so I wrote about the Martins, the Highsmith, the Jaquezes, the guys who understand that they have to defer to Bam, to Jimmy, and to Tyler. You need those also. Jovic, the same thing. He plays the first 90 minutes of each half, but he sets a nice athletic tone. He's a ball mover. Guys like playing with him. The glue guys are so important. You know what, Big O? That's what the real teams realize, is that you have to have those guys as well as your stars. So when you see a team like the Dolphins with all their injuries, and you don't have enough glue guys in there because guys go by the wayside, and you're pulling guys off the scrap heap, that's what the Heat have. Look, I'm not going to celebrate Caleb Martin, Hayward, Highsmith, Josh Richardson, but they fill in the gaps for this team, and they don't overstep their bounds. Those guys
been like that. It's James Posey, it's Keith Askins, it's PJ Brown, it's Dan Marley, Udonis Haslam. It's always been like that for this franchise. You've always had the guys that help you win. They're not the stars that lead you in the win, but they always fundamentally. I mean, Chris Bosh might be the most expensive and most superstarish glue guy I've ever seen in my freaking life, dude, because he was a superstar that then understood I have to be kind of a glue guy for Wade and for LeBron, and that was enormous. It's always been like that. Sure. Even under the prior regime before Riley got here, they kind of did the same thing too. Always had glue guys. So,
or even when a Shane Battier came in, a Mike Miller came in, a Ray Allen came in, a Birdman came in, all guys had been stars in their own right somewhere else. They understood the difference. That's why I think even a subtle move like Josh Richardson for the minimum. Look, Josh has been uneven, but he hasn't overextended what they need him to do, and that makes a difference. So I really like the roster composition. And like we spoke at our top of our Acura of Pembroke Pines report, what I like is we're finally getting to see it all together. We need to see it all together. You want to know exactly what you have, preferably before that February 8th NBA trading deadline.
Okay, so the one thing that I can say is Kyle Lowry. That's one thing that you can move because an expiring deal is always sexy. What's out there that they don't have to overextend themselves with some kind of contract for many years?
Well, I think the DeJounte Murray thing is out there just because he's there. But again, that's the long-term deal. That's not something I'm necessarily looking forward to. You know what I like is there's a weird rule this year. If you're over the first apron of the luxury tax, you no longer can sign a player who's earning above the average salary. So the Heat buyout move last season that they couldn't make they made for Kevin Love, they couldn't make this year because he had his high salary with Cleveland. There was just a trade recently where Danilo Gallinari went from Washington and was moved in a trade with Detroit. No interest in being there. He actually earns under the average salary. As a stretch four, just another veteran guy who's been around. I mean, defensively, he's hellacious. But as another guy to add, I think it might be more that. I think the Heat might sit back at the trading deadline and say, okay, there's another guy out there. I don't think you're going to love this name, but he could help defensively, and that's PJ Tucker. He also was below that salary threshold of the average salary. He doesn't play at all with the Clippers. I know he's 83 years old.
So I know. That's what I'm saying. Is his body still in one piece? Because
somehow it is. But what I'm saying is, you know what you do with those buyout guys, even like you did with Cody Zeller last year, you make it clear. You might be able to help us, or you might not play at all. Are you cool with that? I could see that kind of subtle move. the Kyle Lowry contract could be attractive. They've shown they can win without Kyle when he's missed this time. Tyler handling a little more. They have enough playmaking with Butler and with Jaquez. But I think it might be prudent for them just to ride it out and just shove that money away. Because when you replace bad money with more bad money, same situation.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely don't want to replace it. I'd rather just let the contract expire, and move on. That to me, that's definitely the best thing. What are you expecting tonight against the Raptors?
Toronto has fallen out of the play-in round. They made their trade. They got quickly. They made the deal for RJ Barrett to the Knicks, but they haven't found their footing. Last night there was a report from Shams, who's credible, saying that there's a very good chance Pascal Siakam is going to the Indiana Pacers for 3 first-round picks. Nothing has come out yet, as we talk here in our accurate Pembroke Pines report. But if you're a player and you know a team is close to trading you, you got to wonder where your head is. It's really interesting. Last time he showed up here when they had those play-in round makeup games, they had OG and Anunoby, they had Siakam. They looked like they were going somewhere. Jacob Poeltl wasn't hurt. He's hurt right now. I think Toronto is in blow-it-up mode. I think what you're seeing is the pieces one by one. Kyle Lowry goes away. Kawhi Leonard goes away. Fred VanVleet goes away. So I think you've got to hit a team like this. The Toronto Raptors, I'm not saying they're not playing for winning, but they're not desperate for winning. They're already taking the long view.
Yeah, they're transitioning.
You know what the Heat have done this year? They've been very Dolphins-like. I don't mean that in a bad way. They've taken care of the bad teams. So playing Toronto is like having New England or the Jets on your schedule. Then you get Atlanta on Friday, the same thing. They've been very good about beating the bad teams. They also, unlike the Dolphins, have some good wins. So I think tonight you got to look at this is a game, even though it's here in 14-degree Toronto, you got to take care of business. The Heat, because they're healthy, have a better roster tonight than Toronto does.
I got to say, the next time you show up at the arena, they should put you in the final seat at the top of the arena, because you just compared a franchise that constantly wins in the playoffs and goes to the finals in the Eastern Conference Finals to a team that can't ever even win in the playoffs. Ira, you just insulted the shit out of the Heat.
No, in one aspect, I think I was spot on.
That's just
teams
bad.
That beat the bad teams that have to be better against the good teams.
But this franchise freaking shows up, bro. They show up. Compared to the Dolphins don't show up for anything, dude. I mean,
and the one thing I will say about the Dolphins is this. The Heat have not always taken the easy road. So the whole thought, they lost to the Bills. They had to go to the Tundra. They did that. The Heat came back from the play-in round last year. There was no worse starting point than being down to the Chicago Bulls in the fourth quarter of win-or-go-home play-in. They created their own adversity, as did the Dolphins, and they fought through their adversity. Because I think when you look at Eric Spoelstra, at Andy Ellisberg, at Pat Riley, you have a greater feeling of good things still to come than necessarily when you look at Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, and even to a degree Stephen Ross and where they are also. This Heat team can always look up to the coaching suite and the front office and going, those guys have done it before. They will find a way. Eric, $120 million Spoelstra will find a way.
Every coach and every player, when they see this schedule, they're like, oh, shit, we got to play Miami.
Yep.
Damn it. No matter who, they don't even give a shit who's on the team. They haven't even seen the film. They haven't watched them for weeks. They don't even know. They just know, oh, shit. Because they know they're in for a hell of a night, one way or the other. You know what I mean? So that's the difference with that. That
Absolutely.
That franchise is at another level completely. It really is. So that's the only good thing about the end of the football season, is that we get to turn our attention now to the Heat and the Panthers. And we got Inter right around the corner. So it's
and that's going to be I'm waiting for Inter to start moving games right and left to Hard Rock, because when you have Suarez and you have Messi, you can't be messing around with no 18,000 seat stadium. You got to put 60 in there. Big O, everyone wants to go.
They must have asked for a big piece of the pie. That's why they didn't do the US Open.
At this point, I don't care. MLS is going to sell every one of those games to Apple Plus, so you can have to pay for it to watch it.
Yeah.
To see those guys in front of 60,000 instead of in front of 18,000, I think should matter to Major League Soccer also. I want to see as many games as possible at Hard Rock. They deserve that.
I would love that, but I don't know. I don't know what the Moss brothers, I don't know what kind of piece of the pie they want out of it. So You know what I mean? That's
You know
kind
what?
of the
If you're
crazy.
selling 60,000 seats, this is simple math. I went to State
Yeah,
University, New
no,
York.
you're right.
Instead of 18,000, you have 3 times the revenue. Even if you give 1/3 of the revenue to Stephen Ross, you're still doubling your revenue. I just like to see that. It is amazing when you watch those practice sessions with Alba and Suarez and Messi out there. Now, I know you're talking about the kings of the 2012 World Cup. I get all that, but it's still such a soccer legacy. It's like it worse watching the Soccer Hall of Fame live.
By the way, they would get all of the parking revenue. Now they don't, because you're parking in warehouses and all kinds of. So you're not really getting all of the people parking in your stadium currently right now.
Well, I'll tell you
If you go
something
to Hard
else.
Rock,
Unless
at least you're going to
interchange
get a cut of the entire parking.
They go, when you go to Inter Miami, they give you a little card and they're saying it's on the honor system. Please pay for your parking. I don't even know how many people are paying for that also, because in that dirt lot, they ain't fitting no tow truck through there. But that's not me talking.
Right. No, I'm with you there.
And if
All
they
right,
do, and if they do tow you, get a brand new Acura at Acura Pembroke Pines.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And the EVs are coming too. All right. So what do you got coming at the Sun Sentinel?
I wrote a story this morning about the glue guys and how it matters. And Caleb, like he said, look, we're the guys making a difference, and they really have been. Guys like Caleb and Duncan Robinson and Josh Richardson, they have the right pieces there. I wrote about that. I wrote about Nikola Jovic doing a really nice job in the Luke Babbitt role. He plays the first 9 minutes of each half. You know what? It's a step forward. Make your steps forward like that. So that's been a nice change. Maybe he is the power forward of the future for this team. I'm looking at that. And Udonis Haslem last night on his podcast with Mike Miller made sure to apologize one last time to Bill Russell's family, because when his number goes up on Friday, he doesn't want anyone looking over at number 6 on the south wall and going, wait, didn't Udonis want that to come down? So that was interesting also. So we're going to have a lot of Udonis Haslem coverage leading to the retirement of his number. Halftime Friday night, Kaseya Center against the Atlanta Hawks.
Should be fun. And the statue next year, that should be a fun event also for.
And doesn't the statue have to be, awesome. This is my house? I can't see any other pose. People have said Dwayne doing the pull-up on the rim before a game, but that's not iconic. The fadeaway shot, the fadeaway shot against the Hornets in the playoffs in his first playoff year, that was a great shot, but there's nothing like this. So I expect to see. And you know what? If they show him on a scorer's table doing "This is my house," they could have the nice little carnival banner underneath it, bronze for all time.
Right. They could have a Miami Heat banner with the little carnival on it. And exactly. Yeah, a scorer's table, man. Make it look just like a Miami Heat scorer's table. It'll look fantastic. That should be the. So then, is the entire statue 8 foot, or is the table taken away a couple of feet from the player?
You know what? I think Pat Riley was just talking at the moment. I'm not so sure. 8 foot, 6 feet, 12 feet. I'm sure the sculptors who did the Michael Jordan statue at the United Center, the Shaq and the Kareem statue in Staples Center, and now Crypto.com will do a fine job. Let the artists be artists.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel and subscribe. Ira, thank you. Enjoy the basketball tonight.
Catch you from home next week. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, sir. Safe travels. There you go. Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. And remember, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And they've got the customer appreciation sales event going on right now. The 2024 Integra, $329 a month. The 2023 TLX, yes, we've still got a bunch in stock here for you, $399. The 2024 RDX, it is beautiful, man, $459 a month. The 2024 MDX, $499 a month. The number 1 volume sales dealership in the United States of America. It is Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the number 1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. Thank you. We are up here at Top Gun Indoor Range. And if you happen to be anywhere near here, come on out, join us, man. Come on by, say hi. Would love to meet you. Remember, we're going to have our shooting contest, our first shooting contest, January 31st at the end of the month on a Wednesday night here and 7 o'clock. So come on out and join us. Bring your gun, and we'll have some fun. The winner will win the grand prize. We'll have some prizes, some giveaways, and I'm also going to bring some Big O T-shirts. Everyone that participates in the shooting contest will get a T-shirt. Okay, so come on out and join us. Steve Chapman, I see, is first on the chat board watching Hard Knocks. Last night, McDaniel looked more like a teammate and a buddy than a head coach. I don't like it. My wife said the same thing, Steve. Same thing. And it's what I was talking about yesterday, my man, on the show. How do you go from nice guy to disciplinarian? How do you go from disciplinarian to trying to be the nice guy? It's hard. It's almost impossible. We talked about it that Tom Coughlin was the only one that I could think of that when he went to Jacksonville, it was the last year of the Giants and then went to Jacksonville that he kind of changed his ways and tried to be more, understanding with players and things like that because he was so old school entrenched. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things that none of us can answer. You know what I mean? And it's impossible to overcome. Once you are what you are, you see all the joking around, and you saw the end of the show yesterday, and all the faces and what's the meaning of life and what's this, that, and it's all fun, but I'll give you something that I wanted to talk about today on the show. Raheem Morris, okay? Raheem Morris had a head coaching job, right? And he didn't do a very good job. He was young. So today he's interviewing with the Panthers, and he's kind of resurrected himself, and people are all saying, man, this guy needs to get another shot. And, a lot of people are talking about, because Raheem was one of those guys that a lot of people had hope for in being a head coach the first go around, because they thought he had that personality and he was able to connect with people. Dan Quinn was the coach in Atlanta for 5 years. It didn't go very well. Now, people love Dan Quinn. They loved him. He was up for head coaching jobs before the Atlanta job, and then finally got the Atlanta job. It didn't go well for him. He went back to being an assistant, couple stops, resurrected everything again. People love Dan Quinn. And so now he's out for that second opportunity. He is interviewing with the Panthers and the Titans today virtually, Wednesday, Washington on Thursday, and the Chargers on Friday. And then Seattle is also in the mix for him. So I bring that up. Do you know why I bring that up? I bring it up because Raheem Morris and Dan Quinn had to fail like Belichick had to fail, like, I don't know. Let me see who else. There are some guys that, they fail and then they get that second go around and then they find their way, right? And you just wonder, did you hire Mike McDaniel one hire too early? Because that's what it looks like. It looks like a young coach that is making his mistakes as a young coach. One of them is trying to be everybody's friend on the team. And I think that's not I'm in football, I just don't think that works. And it's not working for him because he has no discipline on his team. So that's a problem. You have no discipline on your team. That is definitely an issue. And I hope that's not the case. I like Mike McDaniel a lot, actually. It's not going to stop me from criticizing him. I love his potential. I love his offensive mind. I just don't like that he has no discipline at all. And that's because he's too loosey-goosey. And I hope that he does what I think is almost impossible. Fix his issues, bring way more discipline to your team, to your play calling, because you're right now the weak link of your team. That's the way I look at it. The team has enough talent. It underachieved because of its coach. That's the way I look at it. Chris Greer's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I really hope for the best for McDaniel because I want him to stay. I don't want to see the Dolphins change coaches. But that's not going to stop me from telling you that he doesn't know what he's doing right now. He's just not prepared for this. You know, and that's the sad part. And when I was looking at the Raheem Morris and Dan Quinn stories, and I'm thinking, wow, their first go-arounds, they were young, they were up and coming, people were excited about them, and they failed miserably. And they gave them opportunities, but they couldn't get it done. And so they went back to being assistant coaches, and they've kind of built themselves back up again to get to this point. And you look at all the coaches that Miami has hired in the past, none of them were ever successful again anywhere else, right? Cam Cameron didn't go and get another job somewhere as a head coach in the NFL, or Adam Gase, or, you know, nobody. None of these guys. Not Dave Wannstedt, nobody. Every time somebody, Joe Philbin, once you're fired, you're done with the Dolphins. You're done with the NFL, actually. You're never a head coach again. And certainly you're not successful. So I don't know if, you know, that surely means that Miami did not hire the right people because none of them were able to resurrect their careers. Flo is in the middle of it, but I kind of think that the NFL is dragging them along because of the lawsuit and all that. You know what I mean? Once that shit dies out, his opportunities might die out too. But that's just me thinking, being cynical because of everything that I've seen and been through in my life. But yeah, it's just, you just wonder about that. When I saw Raheem Morris and Dan Quinn, I thought of Mike McDaniel right away, and I'm like, did they hire the wrong coach again? Or did they hire him too early? And, you know, you didn't get them at the right part when they were really ready to actually, you know, excel. There's too much, I will say this, there's so much potential with McDaniel. That's why I really want him to succeed. Good dude, intelligent, has got a great mind for offense. He just needs to be reeled in, and he needs to bring a little bit more discipline to what he does. Pete Carroll's a good one. Patriots, Jets, and then he goes to Seattle, and he was a little – but now he didn't go back as an assistant. That's the difference. He went to USC and went to be a head coach. So that's the only difference, that Carroll kind of went back to, if I'm correct, right? That's how it went, right? Let me see. I think he's always been, once he became a head coach, I think he was always a head coach. Let's see. Let me see. Jets head coach, 94. Nope. San Francisco defensive coordinator, 95-96. New England head coach, 97-99. Then USC, then Seattle. So he had a 1-year sliver of San Francisco defensive coordinator in between the Jets head coach and the Patriots head coach. So he, not the same, but all right, he had a little bit of that. But he's been mostly a head coach after he turned into being a head coach. But that's a good one. That's the closest one we have, right? You know? So, well, Shula in Baltimore wasn't fired. That's wrong. Shula was traded for from Baltimore. So he wasn't fired. That's different. They wanted him. I'm talking about somebody that failed. Shula went to the Super Bowl, bro. That's not failing. You know. Let's compare apples and apples, not apples and oranges. Ricardo Cuchican. I live in Argentina. Traveled to Pats, Jets, Giants, Jets, and Titans game. I'm so disappointed. I'm 58 and follow the internet. Followed since the internet in 95. So only 2 playoff wins. 2 kids, also Dolphin fans. We will continue grinding, but it is hard. Ricardo, I feel for you, my brother. That's crazy. And your commitment, dude, living in Argentina. Wow. I'm interested to know. This is like a completely off the wall question, you know, because of the economy. How come you still live there? If you could travel the way you can travel, you should be well off. Not, I don't know if you're rich or anything, but you're well off. Is it all family thing? Because I know sometimes I have some friends of mine that stay in some of their countries, and they're like, yeah, no, I got all my family, and so I got to stick around. So it's interesting, right? And when is Argentina just going to go to Bitcoin already, huh? Millie said he was going to do it, and then they forced him to back out of it and go with the dollar and all that, and that's not what Millie wanted to do, bro. It's interesting. I think Argentina eventually has to go to Bitcoin. Ever since I started following Bitcoin, 3 years ago, it's changed my whole perspective on how I watch money in our country, in other countries, and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. It's fascinating for me now, that I'm able to I want to follow all of this kind of stuff and see where it's going, because I'm really intrigued, because I know that eventually we're headed in one direction, since everything is, negative. Let's see. Gase was a coach again, but not successful. He was after Miami. What did he do after Miami? Oh, the Jets,
head
right?
Coach for the Jets, yeah, head coach Jets.
Right, he went to the Jets. Yeah, the Jets were the stupid idiots that we were with the whole Tannenbaum thing. I remember that. Jesus Christ, we hired Tannenbaum, and Dolphin fans that were like, "Oh, maybe he's better here," and I'm like, "Bro, please, come on, let's go." But Gase is just like all the other coaches, Frankie. They're failed. Nothing that leaves here succeeds. So I think Greer's an excellent GM. Although Greer, what's going to hurt him now, and that I have to be fair, is if McDaniel fails, that's going to be bad for him, because that's 2 coaches that they failed in, and that's not good. But I love the talent on the team overall. I just think the head coach is the total screw up here. That's the way it is. Let's see. So we have to wait all again for Dolphins football in September. Yes, sir. True Fin Fan says, I wish I didn't feel this way. Maybe it's not even fair, but I can't stand the voice of McDaniel. I can't stand how he wants to be liked. Why? Because I know we're wasting our time with this guy. Well, that's the jokes. See, the True Fin Fan, what you're going through, my brother, is human nature. It's normal. All of you, it's normal. You're excited about McDaniel. He's likable. He's intelligent, right? And it's all good while it's going well. But then when there's adversity, you want to see some kind of change. Hell, when there's adversity on the field at the moment, the man has no answers for it. he has no counters for it. For an intelligent guy, that's kind of frustrating. And so True Fin Fan, I know where you're coming from. Every time you hear him try to motivate his team or talk about something, immediately you go, "Oh, this guy's full of shit." He's just and if you watch that episode yesterday, that, by the way, I just want to tell HBO that was about the laziest episode done out of the whole series. You just got a bunch of little individual scenes and put them together and all that. And, Ingram is, I know he's been here for a couple stops here, a couple years, but he's not really a guy I want to focus in on and spend a whole segment on. I really want you to focus on players that actually matter and that are going to be here long term. You know what I'm saying? But the problem right now is that the credibility is gone, True Fin Fan. And so since Mike McDaniel now has lost credibility, what he says does not carry anymore. And so now when you're watching it on Hard Knocks, you're like, these guys aren't believing this bullshit because you're not believing it anymore. It's human nature, man. If what you're selling is not working, then they're not going to be buying it anymore. And that's what's happened to you, True Fin Fan. You're not buying it anymore. So what comes out of him is what? The Peanuts teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Right? It's what we grew up with. Because that's what the teacher ends up sounding to you like, because you're hearing the noise, but you're not really listening or deciphering what that noise is. It's just wah, 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 wah. And that's kind of what Mike McDaniel has turned into, the Peanuts teacher. So Mike McDaniel, when he comes back next year or this offseason, has to earn the trust again of the public. And I don't know how much trust he's earned or lost from his own team. So what you're feeling, True Fin Fan, is absolutely normal. Sadly, but it's normal. True Fin Fan says facts, speaking facts, Big O. Thank you, sir. Boy, you are in my mind. Effing nailed it. That's because you're not the only one. There's lots of people right now feeling like you are my brother. That's just the way it is. So, how many years will Miami sign Tua for? Probably 5 years. That's probably something like that. Not going to lie, McDaniel gave me some concern when I saw in Hard Knocks when he said, man, we can't do shit, and he did nothing to change it. He has no answers, Frankie. That's been a constant since last year. He has no answers. It took him a whole year to answer the Chargers. A whole year. A whole year. And we get pissed off when coaches can't adjust from one quarter to another, from one half to another. It took this guy a year to answer the Chargers. That's not coaching. That's just not coaching. Everything you did in that Chargers game this year, you should have done it in the second half of the game last year. But you're not a good enough coach in game day. Think about that. I want you to think about that. A real coach gets stifled by the Chargers in the first half, and then in the second half, you storm back. Right? it's funny because last year they got routed in the first half by Baltimore and Detroit, remember? And then they came back. But it wasn't that the offense adjusted. It was that the defense shut them down in the second half. Even turned them over, if I remember correctly. Helped the offense in that sense. And then the offense was able to storm back. But, it's interesting. But when they figure him out, look what they did to the receivers this past week in Kansas City. I mean, Jarius Byrd and company just manhandled Tyreek and Waddle. That's an indictment on those guys, too. By the way, again, just want to remind you, never in your life, ever in your life, ever mention Tyreek and Waddle in the same sentence with Clayton and Duper. Just want to remind you guys again, okay? What I saw this past weekend, you weren't going to do that to Clayton. Okay? Clayton squats 500 pounds. You weren't going to do that. Okay? Don't ever in your lives ever dare to compare anybody in Dolphin history to Clayton. Just want to make sure we say that shit. Okay? Over and over again. Let's see. I haven't even seen the last 3 episodes not to see McDaniel, says Alexis. Big O, it's sad that you and I have waited for 40 years to have the right owner and right GM, just got the wrong coach. Yeah. They got to fix that. And I don't know. And this is a really, really difficult thing to fix. Really difficult thing to fix, man. I don't know how they fix it. It's going to be a hell of a challenge for Mike McDaniel and a hell of a challenge for Chris Greer. I can tell you that. He is in a really difficult situation. I don't know how he reaches his coach, to be quite honest. Let's see. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? We love Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics, custom printing and embroidery. Heat -2.5 tonight, 7:40, taking on the Raptors. 7:08 tonight. Detroit is visiting the Florida Panthers. So Amerant Bank Arena, 7:08, they'll drop the puck. The Panthers are favored by 1.5 goals. Over and under is 6.5. By the way, considering the way Ira was talking about the Raptors, I got to tell you, Sean, I was thinking of laying the 2.5 already. Right? Because the Heat is pretty much, kind of healthy. They've got most of their players back. Tonight, we got a nice game, University of Miami and FSU. ACC Network, 7 o'clock. FSU's 10-6, 4-1 in the ACC. UM's 12-4, 3-2 in the ACC. So they need this one. And playoff game for the Dolphins. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not. Okay. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Fair point on Clayton. Also, don't compare Tua to Breeze. That's your opinion. Personally, don't care. I'm not worried about you guys that don't like Tua. I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? I kind of look at it like you don't know what the hell you're talking about anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. You know what I mean? I laugh at you people. That's kind of the way it is. You know what I mean? So I know what's wrong with the team. I know what's holding back everything. Tua, the offense, the team. So, you guys can go point fingers or whatever. It's one dude. There's one problem with the Miami Dolphins right now. Well, the other one is bad luck with the injuries. That one, I don't know how to resolve that one. But again, the same idiots that probably think Tua can't play, they think the training staff is bad too, because, that's kind of the way it is. So for me, you know what I mean? The Tua stuff, I just laugh at. So doesn't matter. I'm not here to, as I told you, I'm not here to convince you guys. If you don't believe in the kid, I can't help you, man. You know what? I can help you. You probably don't need to follow the Dolphins anymore. If you don't believe in Tua, why watch? Why watch? They have no chance, right? Why watch? You know what I'm saying? They don't have a shot. So if you've given up on Tua, then don't watch. Don't care about the Dolphins. So, I mean, it's over, right? If you don't believe in Tua, it's over for you. Every Doll fan out there, the ones that don't believe in Tua, you really have no reason to watch, because if you don't believe in your quarterback, your team has no chance. Just want you to know that. Okay? So you don't believe in Tua, you shouldn't watch. You shouldn't read. You shouldn't watch these shows. You shouldn't watch anything. You should give up on the Dolphins. Give up your season tickets, burn your jerseys, burn your shirts, burn all your banners. Just drop the Dolphins. It's over. Tua's not going anywhere. So your depression begins. Let's see. Tua is the answer either. If you want to, Tua is the answer either. I don't know what that means, Louis. Tua's getting tired of McDaniel as well. If you listen to his post-game presser, he pretty much threw the coach under the bus. Yeah, I said that. Yep, of course. I mean, what quarterback can deal with a guy that on the sidelines constantly doesn't know what he's doing? Sends in plays late, so you can't change protections. You can't change the play. You're stuck with what it is. You're playing the quarterback like he's John Elway or a gunslinger, and that's not really who he is. There's a lot of crap going on with Mike McDaniel. He just does not get it. So, James Vivinetti says he's a young coach. It's only year 2. You got to believe that he will work on his shortcomings and be better. James, what would make you believe that? He didn't do it from year 1 to year 2. That's my only problem with that. You're setting yourself up for something that he didn't get better at challenges. He still abandoned the running game. He still can't get plays in on time. The final game of the season, and you still were having pre-snap penalties. And your 3rd and 7s and 8s were becoming 3rd and 12s and 13s. I'm not sure what you're watching, but I saw no improvement from Mike McDaniel last year. The only improvement was that Tua stayed healthy, and that's why you won 11 games. It wasn't because McDaniel was a better coach. It's because the quarterback stayed healthy. That's it. If the quarterback's not healthy, you don't win nearly as many games. Anyway. NorCal says, I don't believe Tua is elite tier, but I do believe he's in the top 10 or better, which is good enough to win it all if we stay healthy. I have no problem with that. He's easily top 10. I think he's a top 5 passer in this league. But again, you got to do things the right way. I was watching I was checking it out. You know, Baker, when he won his game, I think they ran like 33 times. And then I started looking at all his other games the last couple of weeks, 30-something times. You know, like they supported him with that running game. And you've got to support especially when you have Marino, and Tua will never be Marino. You can do that kind of shit. Oh, no, the running game ain't working. Let's just sling it. That's not who Tua is. That's not who Drew Brees is. That's not who Bob Greasy is. Doesn't matter the era. I can name you the quarterback. Certain guys aren't built to be slinging it 40, 50 times a game. That's just not who they are. And that's not, you can't even do that with Josh Allen. They learned that. Ken Dorsey's dumbass couldn't figure that out. He kept wanting Allen to throw and throw and throw. And then, why are all these interceptions and turnovers? Well, that's because you got to implement more of the run, even for Josh Allen, who's got a gun, but he's not consistent with accuracy. So Marino was consistent with accuracy. John Elway was consistent with accuracy. Warren Moon was consistent with accuracy. So you can throw 40, 50 times, and there's a good chance you can win. But then there are certain quarterbacks that they have a skill set that, like a Josh Allen, he can throw it out of the stadium and all that, but he's really not accurate enough to throw it 40 or 50 times. Cam Newton got a gun for an arm, but you don't want him throwing 40 or 50 times because he's not accurate enough. So you want to keep him somewhere in the 15, 25 range and use the running game. Different quarterbacks are used differently. And you have to understand what the skill set is of the player, and then, okay, this is how we play. But if you're going to play Tua the way you would play Dan Marino, you're an idiot. And so this is what happens. And this coach has, that the Dolphins have the most difficult passing game in the NFL. Why is that? You don't have the guy with the biggest arm and the biggest athlete, you don't. So why would you do that? Why would you run the most difficult passing game in the NFL with the quarterback that's not fit for that? There's, in history, there's only a few of those kind of guys. In history, forget about the league. In the league, it's what, Mahomes, and who else am I going to want to throw 40 times a game for sure and isn't really going to turn it over? Let's see. Who am I really going to trust to throw 40 times a game? Josh Allen? No. Anybody with the Jets? Well, Aaron Rodgers, younger, yes. I don't know about older. Nobody in New England. You don't really want to do it with Lamar Jackson. You don't want to do it with anybody in Cleveland. You don't want to do that with anybody in Pittsburgh. Joe Burrow. I can throw 40, 50 with Joe Burrow. I don't know enough about CJ. Not yet with Trevor Lawrence. You can't have him 40, 50 times. Nobody in Indy. Nobody in Tennessee. The only guy in KC. Nobody with the Raiders. Nobody with Denver. I'm not having Herbert throw 40 times. Turnover City. I'm not having Dak Prescott. I'm not having the Philadelphia kid Hurts throw 40 times. That would be a disaster. Nobody with the Giants. Nobody with Washington. Detroit. Jared Goff. There'll be some turnovers if you're just gunslinging with him. Love's too young for that. They use the running game a lot with him. I already explained it. Minnesota. What are you going to do? Kirk Cousins 40 times? Come on. Chicago. No. Tampa Bay, Mayfield, probably not. You got to run. New Orleans, no. Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? I'm going through the whole league. The whole freaking league. It's like Mahomes and Burrow. It's Elway. It's Marino. There's only a couple of those guys. In decades, there's only a couple of those guys that the running game ain't working. Let's go 40, 50 times. I can live with it. That's what this guy's doing. Can't do that, bro. Can't do that. So, it's crazy. What do we have here? Picture McDaniel sending the play and wide your slant go beep delay game offense McDaniel. I challenge that call. You can't, coach. Beating the crap out of the Dolphins doesn't make you a Super Bowl favorite. It makes you a playoff team. Let's see. You're right, about running a complicated offense, but Tua was considered the best player in the draft at one point. Yeah. Again, you're apples and oranges. You're not really listening. All right, let's do it. Hour number 2 is next. Matt Verderam joins us right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty, there he is, locked and loaded and ready for Taylor Swift in the second round. How you feeling, baby?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, not good, of course. Obviously, after another rough week and watching, it's just been kind of frustrating because, unfortunately, Mike McDaniel is kind of the guy that is kind of on my shit list right now. I am really frustrated, and it's funny because I was just talking about this. Raheem Morris has kind of rebuilt himself after his failed attempt at head coaching, and so has Dan Quinn. And both guys were loved by so many people in the first go-around. They were really excited about them. And then everybody knew they were good coaches, and they also had that magic of connecting with players, but it didn't go well. Now they've kind of rebuilt themselves, and they're going to get another shot. And I'm wondering that if Miami's in the middle of, they hired the guy who does have a good mind. There's no doubt that he has an offensive mind that's really good, but maybe you hired him a little too early in his career in this first go around, because there's a lot of mistakes and there's so much, they lack so much discipline. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I mean that game in Kansas City, like what was he supposed to do in that game? I mean, they weren't winning that game. They just
I
weren't.
know when Mostert goes 6, 4, 3, and 8 yards and 4 straight runs, and it's 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and then you decide to get cute with 2 passes.
Okay.
One that Tua didn't even have his fingers on the laces, and it went incomplete to Mostert because it was off target, and the other one Tyreek was covered. But dude, keep it simple, stupid. You don't have a gunslinger. He keeps treating Tua like a gunslinger. And the gunslinger is on the other side of the field. His name is Mahomes. You know what I mean? He plays Tua like he thinks he has Burrow or Mahomes. And brother, you got to play him like they play Baker Mayfield. Run the ball 30 times. Compliment the guy. That's what you need to do.
I don't disagree with that. I don't. But we've talked about that throughout the season. I don't disagree with that at all. I just think in that game, look, the defense did everything it could. I mean, they were missing.
Oh no, yeah. I mean,
right? So defensively, they did what they could. They hung in there. They made the Chiefs kick some field goals. They gave them a shot.
Yeah.
Offensively, I mean, look, I think that game kind of brings up an uncomfortable question about Tua and the future with them. Like, are you going to pay him $50 million a year? Because that's what it's going to cost to keep him there.
Yeah. I still have 0 issues with Tua. I have issues with how you're using Tua, how you're running your offense. That's what I have an issue with. And you're not going to maximize Tua the way you're coaching him.
But if you're paying him, if you're talking about run the ball 30 times every game and playing him like he's Baker Mayfield, then are you going to pay him $50 million a year?
No. I get it.
Because that's the question, right? I mean, now he's got 1 year left on his deal. And if he is going to sign an extension, like that's what it's going to cost. I mean, they're not getting him for $3 and $90. That's not going to happen. So
no, it's not. Plus, they need them. Plus, they need the money.
Right.
So they have no choice. They have to lower that 5th year option. So they're going to give him the extension so they can, wipe out 15, 20 million.
And that extension is going to be, something like 5 years and $250 million plus. I mean, that's what it's going to be. That's the going rate. He just led the league in passing yardage. And look, to be clear, I'm not crapping on Tua. He's a good player. But that game, let's call it what it was. That game was a disaster for Tua. I mean, it was. I mean, he could not function in that game. Now, part of that was the weather, fine. Part of that was he was just outgunned in that football game. I mean, he looked confused at times. He looked tentative. I mean, listen, I get the game.
Well, you're going to get tentative when your corners are molesting your wide receiver.
I told you the Chiefs were going to get up on the line of scrimmage and just physically go after them. And by the way,
timing completely off of everything.
I don't know if any Bills fans are in the chat. Guess what's going to happen on Sunday?
Oh,
they are going to climb up on the line of scrimmage, and they are going to beat the hell out of Stephon Diggs in that game. That's what's going to happen. If Buffalo's going to win, they're going to run the football. That's what's going to happen.
They figured that out, dude. That was Ken Dorsey's dumbass. That again, even Josh Allen, you don't want him throwing 40 times a game because he's not accurate. I just went through the list of the entire NFL. Do you want Jalen Hurts throwing 40 times? Do you want Dak Prescott throwing 40 times?
No. There's probably about 5 guys in the league I want throwing.
No, there's not even 5. It's 2. It's your guy and the guy in Cincinnati. Who else? Who else do you just say, oh, no running game, we can live 40-50. Let's go. 40-50 throws. Let's go. Who can do that nowadays? There's only a couple.
It's hard. It's very, very hard.
It's impossible, dude. And if you start thinking about the history of the game, you're talking about Elway and Marino and
Montana,
Peyton Manning and Montana and Warren Moon, and it's only a couple of guys.
Yeah,
and that's what pisses me off about what's going on here. That he's not playing this kid the right way, and that's just not going to help you, dude. I'm sorry. You couldn't play Drew Brees this way either. You'd get in trouble. if you start doing that.
Well, I
Same
think,
thing.
yeah, to your point, what is interesting is that game, while it felt at times like it was a big score spread in that game. I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, the Chiefs were up 9 at halftime. They were up, 12 throughout much of the third quarter. And, Achan got 6 carries the whole game. Now, I get it. I mean, look, at some point, too, you start feeling like it's getting early. You're getting late early in the playoffs because you've got to do something. You've got to get going. But, like, I thought the one thing McDaniel did in the game, more than anything, that I felt early on, bro, just get away from it. It's not going to happen. All those passes behind the line of scrimmage, like, look, man, they know you're going to do it. They're not going to be fooled by it. And they're playing so close to the line of scrimmage to begin with.
Right.
Like, they're going to blow up 9 out of 10 of these wide receiver screens.
I told you, the coach is killing his own team. He doesn't know how to call a damn game. Dude, go back and look at the game. Halftime, Kaylee Hartung. She's interviewed. He says, well, we got to sustain more drives. We got to dedicate ourselves more to the run. Brother, go look at the first drive right after he talks to Kaylee. Okay? 2 pass plays, 1 run play, and guess what was the only productive play out of the 3? Mostert for 5 yards.
Yeah.
And it's like, keep it simple, stupid. You can run against these guys a little bit. Keep running. Let's get short yardage. How many times did it end up 3rd and 8 and it was 3rd and 13 because you had some stupid penalty? That this happens all the time to his team every week. And it happened in that KC game, I want to say at least 4 times. That there was a penalty on 3rd down and it backed them up again an extra 5 yards. It's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, the play before Tua's interception, they had 3rd and inches and they back up because of an illegal formation. And listen, and you know what? All that's true. I think moving forward, the question that we talked about Tua is a real question at this point. Like, you're going to have to pay him a fortune. I mean, you're going to have to. That's the way the world works in the NFL.
Yes.
Number two, now, like, what do you do moving forward with the roster, specifically on offense, around him? Like, I think the Dolphins, as much as it's great that they have all this speed, they have got to find the physical element to the offense. Look, that game showed why. And I get the weather was extreme, but, like, in the AFC, unless you're the 1 seed every year, you're going to Buffalo and you're going to Kansas City and you're going to Baltimore some years and you're going to Cincinnati.
They had it, dude. All they had to do was beat Tennessee and they would have been home, bro.
I know. But that's it. Like, I mean,
I'm watching Baker the next night and he's in Tampa weather, South Florida, Tampa, same shit. And he's in nice, comfortable weather playing. And I'm like, there you go. And that's what Miami should have been. By the way, Marino never played road games. They always won enough that we were always home in the Orange Bowl. When I was a kid, we were always home. We were rarely going on the road. By the way, when they were going on the road was in the early 90s, and they were getting their asses kicked by who? The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. No, listen, I mean, sure, but, and I agree with you, the Titans' loss is egregious, but, I mean, the Chiefs could sit there and say, well, if they didn't lose on Christmas Day, they're the 2 seed. Well, they did. The Bills lost to the Patriots and the Jets. If they don't lose those games, they're the 1 seed. Well,
you get what you deserve, bro. You get what you deserve.
I mean, my ultimate point is you've got to prepare to be able to win more than one way. And the Dolphins right now offensively can win one way. And that one way is incredibly explosive. And when it looks right, it looks incredible. But when it's not right, it's a problem. Like, they've got to find another, whether that's bringing a couple of linemen up front who are more road graders, you can just pound the ball forward, whether that is bringing a tight end.
Dude, it was 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. He could have just kept that drive going by just running the ball. Last year against the Bills, he was averaging 7 yards a carry, and he just decides to abandon it.
I agree.
Green Bay, 9 yards a carry. Let's abandon it. Let's start throwing the ball, and there goes Tua getting concussed. It's just the shit that he does, and it's constant, bro. It's constant. And it's like, bro, keep it simple, stupid. It's right in front of you. There's no reason to do something else. just run the ball sometimes
It's
because
true.
they actually can run the ball. They were top 5.
And we've talked about it. I agree with you. I mean, it's true. I just think, though, if they're going to advance, if they're going to beat Buffalo, if they're going to beat Kansas City in these playoff games, like they have to have more than one way they can win a football game. You have to be able to do it. I mean, everybody looks at Kansas City and they look at Mahomes. And Mahomes is obviously the number one reason the Chiefs have won 2 of the last 4 Super Bowls. But I tell you, like, you go back and look at those runs. Go look at the Super Bowl against Philly. They lined up and ran the ball down Philadelphia's throat second half of that game. I mean, they did. They lined up in power and just ran them over for the last 30 minutes of the game. Everybody talked all week long, and I was down there covering the game about how, well, there's no way the Chiefs can run on that front. Look how great they're front. And the Chiefs just lined up and moved them. I mean, that's what happened. You go back and watch the Super Bowl against the Niners. Damian Williams was the best player on the field that night. I mean, he just killed them. Former Dolphin. Great, right. I mean, the Chiefs, a lot of those years, like, yes, Mahomes is the main reason, and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, but like a lot of those playoff games, they won because they just got more physical than the other football team. I mean, that's why they won. Now, yeah, obviously they also had Mahomes who could make 6 or 7 godlike plays, but like they won a lot of games, especially last year with Mahomes compromised, where they just lined up offensively and defensively and said, we're going to move you at the point of attack. That's how we're going to win this game. And they did it. And I think if you're Miami, maybe that's adding a different type of alignment. Maybe that's adding a tight end who you feel like you can really rely on.
They tried to get Darren Waller 2 years ago.
Right, I remember that.
They wanted Laporta in the draft, from what I'm told.
So
they have tried to get that playmaking tight end for 2 years in a row. I'm convinced they will get a playmaking tight end this offseason because that offense desperately needs it.
Yes, they need a tight end who can be a release valve, who can give them – the guy doesn't have to go for 1,000 yards, but like somebody who is just a threat in the passing game, because Durham Smythe right now is not thrown to. He's just not a factor.
He's a number 2. He's fine. He's a terrific number 2. That's the problem. You're playing somebody out of their position. It's not Durham's fault.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
It's not. I agree with you. He's a 2. But that, to me, like, they need to find a tight end who can be part of the offense, who can block, and then who also can go out and catch the ball. They need a guy who gives them some duality. Because right now, as great as Hill is and as great as Waddle is, like, if you can do anything to limit those guys, there's no third weapon in the passing game. Now, obviously, the running backs are excellent, but in terms of just throwing the football, there's not that third weapon. Look, I still think the Dolphins are a team that going forward, they're going to be there. They're going to be tough to deal with, but you got to add a little bit of toughness on that offense. And I do think the Tua thing at this point is kind of becoming a real question. Like, when the weather's not good, when they play good teams, he doesn't play well, and that's a huge. I don't care if he throws for 400 yards a game in September. I don't care. It's the same way I feel about, quite honestly, with Buffalo. Listen, maybe Buffalo kicks the crap out of Kansas City this weekend. Like, I don't care.
You got to stop the run, bro. If you guys stop them from running,
they're the one.
You'll be fine.
I agree with you, by the way. I think it's the biggest key in the game. But, like, Buffalo, I have heard from a million Bills fans this week already who have been like, we've won X amount of games in a row. And my answer to that is, I don't care, because you won 8 games in a row to end the regular season last year. And then Cincinnati walked in there and absolutely beat the brakes off of you. I saw them do it a couple of years ago. Like, the Bills, like, all that matters when you get to a certain point of contention is the playoffs. It's the same thing with Baltimore. I don't care that you won 13 games. I don't care. I've seen you win 13 games over and over. Win a game in the playoffs. If CJ Stroud goes in there and kicks the crap out of Baltimore this weekend, nobody's going to care they won 13 games.
Right.
So it becomes about – now, Miami's clearly a good enough team to make the playoffs annually. Now it becomes, what do you do when you're there? And I think that's the next step, and I think it's about getting more physical.
Yeah. By the way, Jason retired. Is Travis next? Because I think he's becoming a human being, bro. I think this is his last go around.
I don't think it's his last go around, but I think he's close. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He talked about it actually the other day in a presser in Kansas City and said that he's nowhere near retiring. I don't know that I believe that. I think he'll play his contract out. I think he'll play 2 more seasons. Okay. I don't think he'll play past that unless he has like some renaissance and he's just unbelievable. I mean, he's 34 years old, so the odds of him having a
it's just are low. I just see him like
there's more to life at this point for him than just
like him. For him, like what's he need anymore, bro? What's he need anymore?
Right.
He's a first ballot. He's one of the greatest tight ends. He's got 2 rings. He's got records galore. He's got commercials galore. And now he found a girl that obviously he's into. To me, it's like, I'm like, yo, dude, why do you need to take any more bruising into your body for the rest of your life? Because you know, and I know, and all of us know, these injuries, they carry them for the next 50 years here. You know what I mean? This is going to screw them up forever. It's like, you know, and watching Higbee, it's like, yo, bro, just make this run and get the hell out and go disappear with Swift. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, the way I see it, like, what's he got left to accomplish? You know what I mean?
Nothing. There's nothing left to accomplish.
It reminds me of the Brady thing. Like, dude, you're a dick. Like, you went to your 2 years in Tampa. She supported you and all that. And then apparently you didn't really want to be a dad and husband. You want to go back to football. But, like, what was the 8th ring going to do for you, bro?
Right.
Was it 8 or 7?
Well, he won 7.
He won 7, right? So it would have been 8. Like, really, were we going to think any different of Tom Brady with the 8th ring or the 9th ring? No, dude. You're done.
I honestly think for those guys, like those players who have such a passion, which Brady obviously did, Kelsey does. Like, I think I had an athlete once say to me that athletes are the only people who die twice. Like, and I think that's a big part of it at this point. You know, it's almost like he knows it's toward the end. And I think, like, for you and I, look, if you want to retire and you retire, like, you can always moonlight doing some of this, right? You doing what you love, and so can I.
Especially in today's world,
right?
You couldn't moonlight years ago.
Do it yourself, right? As you've proven. Like, for me, if I want to do something, if I retire and I go, you know what, I want to do a Substack and make $50K a year on the side, I can do it. Like, when he retires, it's over. And he can go to, listen, maybe it works out with he and Taylor Swift, and he can go to her concerts and see 100,000 people scream for her. And you don't think there's going to be a little part of him that's like, man, I remember what it was.
He'll get tired of that soon. He'll get tired.
But I just mean, like, won't there be a part of him that's like, I'm happy for her, that's great, but, like, you know, I remember what it was like to run out of a tunnel and have 80,000 people screaming for me. I mean, I think that's the hardest part, is a lot of these guys, like, you're the man. And not only that, you have that camaraderie in the locker room, which is the thing everybody says they miss the most. And then you walk away and it's over. It's over all of a sudden. Like, you're just forgot. I mean, even Brady, like, who's talked about Brady in the last year, right? Like, it's over. So I do think he'll play a few more years, but I do think, certainly we're getting toward the end. And I think that's why, in some ways, like, this particular year, and I mean, it's been hard on him because she's, you know, from a team standpoint, because they've not played particularly well by their standards. But now, I mean, if they win this game, they're 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Like, I think for him, it's like, hey, man, I don't know how many more of these got left. Like, we're pretty close. Let's go get it. It's an interesting factor.
I know this league is Teflon and everything bounces off it. No matter how bad it is, it'll go away and the league marches on. But how does the league continue with Jim Irsay as an owner?
Well, it had Dan Snyder as an owner for 25 years. So, I mean, listen, there's always going to be owners in the league who do things that either tarnish the league or embarrass the league. And, you know, most of the time, unfortunately, owners are not going to be removed because you have to have other owners approving that decision. They're not going to set a precedent because they're thinking about, what if I'm next? What if something happens with me? It becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult to get a guy. I mean, Dan Snyder.
But it's a disturbing double standard because
no question
tolerate it from some of your employees or your players.
No, and there's no question. And I would never argue that. But I think it's one of those things that, unfortunately, you know, it's the reality. Now, in this case, okay, you know, and for people who aren't aware, Irsay was found unresponsive and there's fear of an overdose. I mean, with this, I look at it a little differently. Like, Dan Snyder, to me, frankly, Dan Snyder's a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I think Jim Irsay's a bad guy. I think Jim Irsay has
Bad demons.
Issues. His issues. And I have no problem with people in life being supported through those issues. Now, at some point, those issues and those demons can be something that unfortunately consume a person, and it just becomes a massive part of who they are. But with Irsay, I think, listen, you got to support the guy. I don't think Jim Irsay is a bad guy. I think Jim Irsay.
I'm not saying that, but
no, I know.
Right.
But I'm saying I think he has bad problems. Like, to me, like what Jerry Richardson did years ago in Carolina, like, you got to go, man. You got to go. Like, that's something you've got to go. Dan Snyder should have been gone 15 times in his tenure there. Okay. Like, to me,
there's more to that story, obviously.
Oh, there always is. I have like to me, what happened with David Tepper with the fans in Jacksonville. Now, I'm not saying he's got to go. He should have been suspended. Like, you can't throw a drink on a bunch of fans that are paying to be at a game. You're an NFL owner, man. You can't do that. I have a bigger problem with what David Tepper did than what's going on with Irsay right now. To me, one thing is a disease. It's an issue. It's a personal problem. The other one is you're just being an a-hole,
right?
And you can't handle the fact you're 2-15. Well, go build a better team, Dave. Go build a team that can win a game. So, I mean, that's just how I look at it anyway.
Crazy shit. All right, give me the picks for this weekend. Houston, Baltimore. What happens?
I'm going to pick Baltimore, but I got to tell you, of the three games I think that have the larger spreads, that is the game that I think either one could win the game. I like Baltimore, but man, I got to tell you, that's one of those games. Like, if CJ Stroud starts getting hot early, does it almost become a disadvantage that you're at home if you're Baltimore? Because the tension in that building is going to be through the roof. I like the Ravens to win, but I do think that Houston has a real shot to pull an upset.
Packers at Niners.
I like the Niners. I think the Packers have an incredible future with Love, which I'm sure everybody in the NFC North is thrilled to death about. But I think the Niners are just too much.
By the way,
they'll pull away.
They run like 30 times a game with Love.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. And again, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at with, this is what you're supposed to do down here. You need to run a lot more and support your quarterback. Play action will help him and all those kind of things. And to me, that's the one thing that stands out about that story. Jordan got to sit 3 years, just like Rodgers got to sit. I think he sat 4 years.
At least it might have been 4.
It might have been 4, right? And then they got their opportunity, and they really had a staff that brought it along the right way. And that's one of the things that I like about the way LaFleur is bringing Jordan Love around, is that he maintains that running game, and he keeps it to support the kid, and then that really opens it up for him. It really does. It only forces him to make a few throws a game. That's what you want to do, dude. That's exactly what you want.
Did by the way, nice job of the Cowboys this weekend, who just couldn't even be bothered to show up. That was.
They're the only chokers that are bigger than the Dolphins. It's the Cowboys first, and then the Dolphins are second, bro. I mean, we're right up there, but the Cowboys have the first place job.
The Cowboys have you beat. That was a disgrace.
Nobody gets more hyped up than they do. No. Bucks at Lions, bro. Baker Mayfield. I say he needs to get back. Give him the keys to the pirate ship. We need the progressive commercials back. Baker and the Lions. What do you think?
I like the Lions. I think the Buccaneers do have a chance in the game. Because the Lions can't stop people from throwing the ball, and the Bucs can throw the football. Like, the Buccaneers can throw the football,
and they can run.
So I do think they have a shot in the game. But
and the Bucs can play some defense, bro. They got after it this week, bro. They got after it.
That is to me the key to the game. If you can get pressure on Goff, the game changes, because Goff does not deal well with pressure. But listen, I like Detroit. I think it's a tough, kind of an ugly game, like a 2017 type of game. I like the Lions at home. I got to be honest, man. It'd be kind of cool to wake up for the NFC title game and the Lions are playing to go to the Super Bowl. I mean,
we're all rooting for the Lions fans.
That doesn't happen every day. But I honestly, like, taking out even the sentimentality, I think the Lions will.
Yeah, the Lions fans, God bless them, and they deserve.
Oh my God! Much. I mean, how many years of crap do you go through, right?
Yeah, 75 years of crap. God bless them, they deserve it. Chiefs at Bills. What do you think, baby?
all playoffs, I've expected this game to come to fruition, and I said I thought the Bills would win the game. And then Bernard and Teron Johnson got hurt. And if they can't play, I think that is a death sentence to Buffalo because the Chiefs will just shred the crap out of them over the middle of the field. That's what will happen. I mean, they'll just relentlessly go out in between the numbers. I think it's a coin flip, but if those guys are hurt or even one of them's out, I think that might be the difference in the game. I don't know. It's a tough game to pick. It's a really tough game to pick, man. I'll take the Chiefs for the reason that I think those injuries matter, and the Chiefs always win these games. They just do. They find ways to win them.
I got to ask you this, bro. So the defensive coordinator, the guy from the Giants, your guy, what's his name? Right, Spagnuolo. So what do you think Spagnuolo's doing reviewing film this week, right? And saying, you see that mother effer? You see how he tried to almost pull up, and then he ran right through the blocks?
That's going to be a point of emphasis.
Yeah. Well, if you see if you see him in the middle of the field, knock his ass out. I don't care if you get a penalty, knock him out.
There's definitely going to be a point of emphasis play through the contact.
What does the competition committee do about that? Because that was a load of shit, dude. Because that puts defenders at an absolute disadvantage because you think he's going to slide or slow down, so you kind of respect it. But then if you go truck the guy, then you get all these penalties, and that he took advantage of that right there and then. I mean, that was.
Well, I think to your point, there's going to be a conversation about if he's running, unless he's physically in the act of sliding,
knock him out.
Drill.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be I'll tell you what, though, to your point earlier, I think it's the truth. Like, Spags in that game, and nationally, the whole conversation is going to be about Allen and Mahomes, and people are going to be wrong. This game is going to be about the Chiefs are going to load up the box. They're going to dare Buffalo to throw the ball.
Exactly.
They're going to put Snead and McDuffie in man coverage, just like they did with Miami, and they're going to say you are not going to run the football.
Well, you saw what happened,
and
they were throwing too much in the first half. And there were interceptions. And they're like, no, let's dial this thing back. Let's bring back the running game. This is what we are. Let's not go back into the Dorsey hole here. That's why he got fired because, Dable knew what he was and Brady knows what he was. Dorsey was trying to make him something that he's not, and he's not. Bro, you're not going to make him Dan Fouts to go out there and throw 50 times a game.
Buffalo's got to run the ball.
That's not who he is.
To me, the keys in the game, the Chiefs can't turn the ball over. The Bills lead the league in takeaways, and the Chiefs turned it over a lot. That is the great equalizer in this football game. That's number one. Number two, Buffalo, if they can't defend the middle of the field, they got a problem. Because if there's one thing the Chiefs will do in the passing game, they will run. I mean, Rashee Rice is still running on a deep cross.
Yeah, he looks good.
I mean, that's all they do. And then Kelsey just kills you over the middle. And then the third thing, look, Kansas City's got to stop the run in this game. If Kansas City can stop Buffalo from running the ball,
they win.
They will win the game. Because the Chiefs, look, Snead Snead was able to deal with Hill twice this year. He's going to shut down Stephon Diggs. It's coming. And they already did, by the way.
And he'll get it, and he'll get in Diggs' head. If he gets physical with Diggs, he'll frustrate the shit out of Diggs.
The first time they played this year, the Bills won. They won 2017, largely because the Chiefs had 2 turnovers and Tony's disaster at the end of the game. But if you go back and look at that game, Gabe Davis was one-on-one with Trent McDuffie the whole game. He had 0 catches. Diggs was 4 for 24. Kincaid was 5 for 21. Like, they're not – Allen threw for 5.5 yards an attempt in that game. They're not going to throw the ball over them. They do, God bless them. I'd be shocked. No team's done it all year long. They're going to have to run the ball. And the Chiefs know it. And I would not be surprised if the Chiefs put 7, 8 guys down there and just say, you want to throw it over our head, man, go nuts. Try. Yeah. I think they're just going to challenge them at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to do everything they can to keep Allen in the pocket and make him beat them with his arm. It's going to be a very interesting game. I'll take Kansas City for no other reason. I think the injuries are important to the Bills, and the Chiefs just win these games. They just do. They find ways to win against these teams in these spots. So I'll take them in what I think is going to be a great game.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I pick Kansas City in this one because I think they're going to focus on stopping the run, and then that's when you can force the turnovers from the Bills and take advantage, overall. And maybe the passing game for the Chiefs is slightly getting better right now.
Well, they've unleashed Rice. The last 6 weeks, he went from early in the year, everything was right at the line of scrimmage. Everything. I mean, bubble screens and quick little hitters. And then basically by necessity, they were like, all right, man, we're going to start throwing you the ball on all these different routes. And he's responded. And he's opening up the offense for them now. Because now all of a sudden you can't just sit there and squat on Kelsey the whole game. Right. Now there's somebody else. And it's opening up lanes for Pacheco, and it's opening up Kelsey for these one-on-ones. And Kelsey, while he's not the same player he was 3 years ago, if you guard him one-on-one with the linebacker, he's going to win. He's still going to win. So, look, if it comes down to Rice is playing well and it's A.J. Klein on Travis Kelsey, like Kelsey's winning that matchup 10 times out of 10. He's just going to do it. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting this Sunday.
Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. More importantly, catch his work there at Sports Illustrated doing his thing. Matt, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up next week. Enjoy the football.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
Thank you, sir. There you go. The great Matt Verderam. Appreciate it as always. So Ira and Matt already in. We are at Top Gun Indoor Range. There's Hialeah Park. I like it. Little Hialeah Park. Remember, if you have a Hard Rock account, okay, don't use the same email or phone number. If you want to get your free $100, no regret first bet, hell, you could use it tonight against the Raptors. 2.5 points. I'm laying the wood on that one. You got to go to the Hialeah Park website. Okay, so go to hialeahpark.com. Sign up for it. Just use the QR code that's there. Put your phone, use the QR code. It'll take you to it, and that's it. And you'll be set to go. But again, do not use the same email or phone number that you use with your Hard Rock account, because then you will not get the new account and the $100. Okay, so use the wife's number or a separate email that you have, maybe a second email, and take advantage. Get the $100, man. You deserve it. You deserve it. All right, we are here at Top Gun Indoor Range. Remember, we are having our first ever shooting contest Wednesday, January 31st. So it's 2 Wednesdays from now. All right, we'll be out here. We got a nice family atmosphere, folks, and they've got self-defense classes for the ladies here. Also, basic pistol, concealed weapons courses. They've got archery here, by the way. They've got 25 different lanes, 18 different lanes, up to 25 yards. They are the largest long-distance indoor range in Dade County, and they're the only archery indoor range in Dade County. Top Gun Indoor Range. And by the way, they carry a large selection and all the major brands, Glock, 6 Hour, Smith & Wesson, and there you go. There you go. Shoot that target, or this target. That's what they're saying at home. At home, they shoot this target. Anyway, we thank Matt and appreciate all of you out there. Join us. We're going to have prizes and giveaways for the shooting contest on Wednesday, January 31st. And everybody that participates in the shooting contest, I'm going to give you a Big O t-shirt too. Okay? So there you go. How about that? All right. What else do we have? Cash App or Venmo. You can make a donation. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Ho-Yoon. Thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. Appreciate you as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember, you can send in your questions, comments, insults, even a compliment. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation, which those are always my favorite. Thank you. All right. What do we have here on the chat board? Oh, things moved a lot. What do we have here? It's all about Tyreek, Tua, and McDaniel. There's something wrong in the control center of this team. They have to recalibrate. Tyreek is too powerful. Coach has got to do a better job of setting them up. Magic Mark says a lot of us fans are still waiting for confirmation that we made the right decision moving on from Flores, hiring Mike, and going all in with Tua. Outside of individual accomplishments, the team regressed. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Defense did their job versus KC like Baltimore game last year, but the offense this year was offensive, so to speak. Yes, they were. Giovanni is correct. Hearing from Coach McD in the auditorium, speaking to the team, I hate to say it, I cringe. Sadly, I played sports my whole life, even now, and I would have trouble listening to him. I get it, man. McDaniel, there's an issue with McDaniel. There's no way any of us can say we have extreme confidence in Mike McDaniel. You know, to me, that's the major problem right now that needs to be corrected. Question is, how do you fix it? That's really my real issue with all of this is, how do you fix it? Because I don't know how you fix this, to be quite honest. I really don't. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, proud sponsor of our program. We love talking about William Quigley and the great people, Mike and Gilbert. I mean, just outstanding people. And if you live here in South Florida, Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, first of all, tree trimming and removals, that is something that sometimes some of you take it upon yourself and you're climbing that ladder or that roof and you're putting yourself at risk. Listen, call the pros. Cutter's Edge Pro can help you out. Artificial turf, I got it for our dogs, and it is the saving grace. I'm telling you, my dogs love it, and it's the easiest thing to maintain, and it always looks phenomenal. It's we're going close to 2 years. I think by June or something, we're going to be like in 2 years of having the artificial turf. Not one blade of grass ever grew through it. And I had a friend of mine that didn't call Cutter's Edge Pro, and now he's in the middle of a lawsuit because, they're complaining and he's complaining and he's got grass growing through it and this, that. And I told him, bro, you're trying to save a couple bucks. You do it cheap, and cheap people do it, and you get cheap results. And look at you now. So, call Cutter's Edge Pro, get the professionals that do it right. Their slogan is expect excellence. You don't put that there if you can't live up to it. Okay? That's exactly what happens. Irrigation, outdoor lighting, landscape design. Mike is a beast. Okay? Mike will come in and he looks at your HOA complex, your business, and he knows exactly what to do to take it to the next level. And remember, when you add landscaping, you also improve the value of your business or your home. So make sure you give them a ring, 954-472-0622. Tell them that Big O sent you. CuttersEdgePro.com, and go to their Instagram page, which is just absolutely outstanding. You'll see a lot of their work. CuttersEdgePro.com. So nobody has to cut his he may have to replace his artificial grass, is what he has to do. So, yeah, I get it now because he has blades of grass, so now he has to cut it. But, I try not to laugh at the situation because my buddy was trying to kind of be a smart ass, and he paid the price. So, there's a neighbor. I don't know the gentleman, but he saw when they were putting the artificial turf in my yard, and he had Cutter's Edge Pro go over. He lives like 2 blocks away, I think, something like that. Because I saw Cutter's Edge Pro working in his area after. I think they went there like the month after to work on it. And I saw Cutter's Edge Pro working on it. And it's just, it changes everything when you have artificial turf. It really is a pleasure to have. What else do we have going on? How are the markets doing? Atlas is up 7%, but most everything is kind of barely down. Well, Chainlink's up 5% or barely up. Solana's up 2%, trying to approach 100. They're at $99. Bitcoin still stuck between 42 and 43,000 right now. You know, the problem right now is we have the grayscale GBTC, and there's a lot of outflows going on. And there's so much outflows that it's hurting kind of the inflows. And so that's why it has stayed strong in 42, 43, but it's not moving up yet. Once the folks have liquidated from their Bitcoin holdings with Grayscale, they will then switch over to the ETF. And then you're going to start seeing the inflows over the next couple of weeks increase. And as you see them increase, it will then drive Bitcoin to $50,000 and $60,000 easily. It's all patience. We were at 16 and we're at 25 and we're at 30. We're at 35. We're in the 40s. We'll be fine. We'll soon be in the 50s and talking about that. And then we'll be in the 60s. And, you know, it's just one of those things. Before you know it, it'll be climbing. But, hey, listen, I'm not a financial advisor. But as I've told many of you already, you better load up on that Bitcoin and you better load up on that Ethereum, because when those things pop, you're not ever going to see these prices ever again. I can tell you that for a fact. And by the way, those of you that, if you went into Vinar Chain, it climbed over 7 cents. We told you about Vinar Chain when it was down at 5.5, and it is now up 12%, over 7 cents. Kryptonite, there is a beautiful dip right now in Kryptonite Sailor. It is at 98 cents right now. I mean, 9 cents. I'm sorry, Sailor, 9 cents right now. Pendle up over 1%. It's still over $2, $2.09. It was like at $2.25 yesterday, and we told you about Pendle at $1.34. So nice to see that that things are moving in some directions. Some things are moving. I like it. I like it. By the way, where's Neutron at? There's been a nice little dip on Neutron. $1.35. Not a bad zone for Neutron. All righty. I want to see more Sky and Mike White next season. We should look to drafting a QB too. Okay. All right. So you basically are saying we should be a run-first offense, play action off of that. Yeah, of course. Of course you should be running a lot. Yes, dude. It's very few quarterbacks should be just pass happy all the time. In fact, I can only find two: Mahomes and what's it called, Burrow. And I got to tell you something. Even with Burrow, with all the injuries, I would be careful about dropping him back so much and having him take any extra hits, because he's also a crazy bastard, and he'll go run and he'll take chances, you know. So unfortunately, he has suffered a lot of injuries. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be very careful. You have to be a run heavy oriented team. I think it's incredibly important. I think you become more explosive offensively that way, because big plays will open up for you in the passing game if you dominate in the running game. But if you abandon the run and you become predictable like they do all the time, it's just not good for the Dolphins, dude. It's not good for Tua. It's not good for the offense. So, is what it is. EJ says, I'm totally with you. Tua's not demonstrated this season that he's even remotely elite. nor has McD proven he can prepare the team for games and manage a game. Well, that's problem that hurts your quarterback if you can't prepare. See, if you can't get the play in on time, that doesn't help your quarterback. That doesn't help your offense. So, Bitcoin is actually holding strong at these levels, maybe a bit lower for liquidations, but buy orders are set. I mean, this is a buying zone, and if you don't know that, I can't help you, and it's going to explode. So, John Padilla says, if I didn't live across the country, I'd be there at the shooting contest and kick ass. Well, I'm sure you'll do better than I will, John. So we desperately need a shot of physicality to offense and defense. Yeah, you need the tight end and you need to run more. That's exactly what needs to happen. Okay. Let's see. Too bad Brooks doesn't get a chance to help the running game. He runs angry and is effective between the tackles. Well, that won't help if you still abandon the run anyway. But I know what you're saying, Brett, because I did want to see the kid down the stretch. So, anyway. Myro. Yeah, I know Myro's been flying, dude. Myro has been flying for like 2 weeks now. It's been on a crazy ass roll. Make to a play action assassin. Well, but you got to run more in order to do that. That would actually help out if you would run more. Okay, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? I know there's by the way, can I remind you of some bad news, Dolph fans? The Miami Dolphins pick at number 21 in the first round. That's not the bad news. The Miami Dolphins pick at number 55 in the second round. That's not bad news. The Miami Dolphins have no third round pick. Number 86, just want to remind you, it was forfeited thanks to our owner, Stephen Ross, and the other idiot, Bruce Beal, for getting, fined a first and a third. So last year we lost the first. This year we lose the third. So, I'm looking at the draft and I'm like, oh, shit, dude. They got the first and second, but they don't have a third. And, then you come back with the fourth. But it's just kind of like, it's just like another body blow. That's all I feel. Like body blow, body blow. Was that the Mike Tyson thing? Body blow, body blow. Jesus, dude. It just doesn't stop. Anyway, Carolina and Seattle now have requested interviews with Frank Smith. I don't think Frank Smith is getting any job. But I wonder, will McDaniel make any changes to his staff and maybe make Frank Smith the offensive coordinator? I doubt that. It seems to me like he has the ego that he's dying to do that. So, I don't know. Sean, you're not doing exercises or trying to act like Spider-Man, right? Or trying to get my attention. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure you're having another conversation there. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Because he's doing some stuff and he's doing like this and he's trying to, and he's spinning webs and, so I don't know. He had his spidey sense going on right now. That's what I noticed. Anyway, I'm watching Hard Knocks last night. And one of the things that really stood out to me on Hard Knocks, and it's something that we've all talked about, and I even saw an earlier comment on it at the beginning of the show. Mike McDaniel has got a hell of a job coming up, because the thought of being everybody's friend is something that has not worked out for him, because his players show no discipline whatsoever, and that in turn is really not showing him any respect. There was even a scene in one of them where one of the players, you could tell that this is all fluff stuff that they were creating for the episode. Oh, Mike said this or that, and it's just like it came out so like programmed. You know what I mean? It to me, the job that Mike McDaniel has now is going to be really, really challenging. And I wonder if Chris Greer and Reggie McKenzie and Marvin Allen and Tom Garfinkel, I wonder if the hierarchy sees the same thing. If they see, yeah, no, this guy doesn't really know how to separate church and state. This guy, your parents, right? Your parents are your parents. They're not necessarily your friends. Usually the parent that becomes a friend, that kid, usually, I'm not saying, because everything's always not, black and white. It's not cut and dry. It's all out. But usually that kid tends to go awry because he takes advantage, because kids are kids, and kids will take advantage of practically any situation that they can. And so if you're going to try to be their friend, and you're going to try to go out drinking with them or smoking with them or partying with them or understand this, it's always going to get out of hand. Because your father or your mother have to be your father or your mother. The boss at work rarely is your friend. You're rarely hanging out and joking around with your boss, because then becomes a level of disrespect that will come, because all of a sudden you think you're friends and not an employee, and he's your boss or she's your boss. And then you start crossing lines that you shouldn't be crossing. And that's where your boss goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. But the boss already ruined it by creating that environment. The parent already ruined it by creating that environment. Did Mike McDaniel ruin it by creating this environment? And how does he reverse it? Because I've never seen it reverse, pretty much. The parent doesn't win. The boss doesn't win. And I don't think the head coach wins in this game. I don't think in any way, shape, or form your boss, your parent, your head coach should be your friend. Maybe after you guys part ways and you retire or you go to another business, or, yeah. Maybe when you're 40 years old and your dad's 70, maybe you're a little bit more friendly at that time. Okay? Different scenario. But when you're in a position of leadership and someone is there to go by your guidance, the general and the corporal aren't going to be buddies. It's just not going to happen, dude. And when you watch Hard Knocks, there's too much of that, bro. There's too much of that from the head coach. Think about this. Is there another head coach in the league that would do that? No. I mean, it's all well and cute unless it doesn't work, and it's not working, and that's a major problem, ladies and gentlemen. It's a major freaking problem for Mike McDaniel. KSDT CPAs, by the way, a proud sponsor of our program, and we love the people at KSDT CPAs. They've got offices in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, and also in Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a ring if you're looking for work. They are hiring, 305-670-3370. Tax season is approaching. We're only a couple of months away. And of course, if you own a business, you need tax guidance all throughout tax, advisory, assurance, accounting. They do it all. They can help you with your will. They can help you with payroll, state and local tax consulting. They do it all, folks. That's why we tell you to call the people at KSDT CPAs, 305-670-3370. Use that QR code so you can get your personal taxes going. If you want to get your business taxes going, the people at KSDT CPAs will help you out. And again, if you live in Charlotte or if you live in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties here in Florida, call them at 305-670-3370. They are hiring KSDT CPA. Okay. All right. Let's go with a little music history, right? So let's talk a little music history on the 17th of January. Let me pull up my thing here. In 81 on this date, Motley Crue formed when bassist Nikki Sixx left the band London and began rehearsing with drummer Tommy Lee and vocalist Greg Leon, who later left. Sixx and Lee then added guitarist Bob McMars deal, and Vince Neil accepted the offer to join. Now they are losing lawsuits to McMars, is what they're doing. In 64, the Rolling Stones released their first EP. The set included You Better Move On, Poison Ivy, Bye Bye Johnny, and Money. In 2001 on this date, Jason Newsted left Metallica after playing with the band for a decade. In 2003, a long-lost recording featuring John Lennon and Mick Jagger went up for bids at a London auction. The record was cut in 74 with Mick singing the blues song Too Many Cooks and Lennon playing guitar. It had never been released because the artists were on different labels. It sold for about $2,300. In 76, Barry Manilow had his second number one songs with I Write the Songs That Make the Young Girls. All right. Beach Boys' Bruce Johnson penned the tune. I did not know that Bruce Johnson from the Beach Boys wrote that song, I Write the Songs. Did not know that. In 98, Australian duo Savage Garden started a 2-week run at number one on the singles charts with Truly Madly Deeply. In 2005, Tenacious D brought out some of their famous rocker friends to benefit the victims of the tsunami in Asia. At the concert in LA was Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder, Foo Fighters' David Grohl, Beck, and Queens of the Stone Age Josh Homme all performed and then hung around for a show closing the jam with the D. There you go. That's what happened today in Musica history. Now we could go with birthdays today. How about that? Jake Paul, the only YouTube star I've called so far, 27 years old, because I never really know any YouTube stars, but that one I do. Jim Carrey is 62. Muhammad Ali was born on this date in 1942. We lost him in 2016. Michelle Obama is 60 years old today. Steve Harvey is 67. That's a hell of a list. Betty White, born on this date in 22. We lost her in 21. I don't mention a lot of DJs. Calvin Harris was born on this date. He is 40 years old today. Benjamin Franklin was born on this date in 1706. We lost him in 1790. Ray J, born on this date. He is 43 years old. Zoe Deschanel is 44. Dwayne Wade is 42 today. Oh, yeah. Little John is 53. This list is out of control. James Earl Jones, a.k.a. Darth Vader, is 93 years old. Eartha Kitt was born on this date in 27. We lost her in 2008. Kid Rock is 53 years old today. Tiesto, another DJ that I know, not that I listen to him, but he's 55 today. Jesus, this might be the best list I've ever read. Damn, a lot of people on this list. Now I'm getting dry with the rest of them. Oh, Maxim Shermovsky, it says Instagram star, but he's also a dancer. I've seen him on those Dancing with the Stars. Maury Povich is 85 today. Robert Kennedy Jr. is 70 years old. Is that the one with the terrible voice? Anyways. Damn. It's a hell of a list today. Jesus. Koamisi's 37. Really? Mediocre Dolphins linebacker Koamisi, 37 today. Didn't know that. No, it wasn't Barry Manilow. It was not Barry Manilow. So, what can I tell you? Man, that was an impressive list. Okay, I'm not saying everybody on it, but totality of it. That was damn, dude. That was strong. That was strong, big time. By the way, Bush, Candlebox, Alice in Chains have announced a tour. And you can check out the dates all over the place. August 17th in Lewiston, New York. Atlantic City, August 23rd. They'll be at Hard Rock, Hollywood, Florida, August 30th. Daly's Place, which has terrible acoustics in Jacksonville, on the 29th of August. Atlanta, September 1st. Dallas, September 9th. So there you go. Los Angeles, they wrap it up on September 15th at the Greek Theater. I've been to the Greek Theater, pretty cool place. So you got that going on. What else? Let me see. What else do we have here? Sum 41. And one of my favorite bands, my favorite ska band, the Interrupters, have announced a tour. And they will be coming to South Florida, by the way. It's a world tour. They'll be in Atlanta on May 11th, New York, May 6th, Asbury Park, May 5th, Boston, April 30th, Philadelphia, May 18th. A whole bunch of dates. You guys can go on there and check it out. But there is a South Florida date. They'll be at the Fillmore in Miami Beach on September 23rd. I will be there to see that one because anything Interrupters, I am there to see Amy and the boys. So you can check out Sum 41 and the Interrupters touring. So there you go. I think tickets go on sale Friday, if I'm correct, for that one. Big O, as much as I want McD to succeed, it'll be impossible for him to improve in the areas that are learned with years of experience. Example, game management, offensive schemes, answer to strategies. I know. But it doesn't matter. They're not going to fire him. At least I don't think so. At all. They're going to try to fix it. And remember, they have to try because it won't be a good look for them if they have to fire another coach. I love the team. I love the talent. I just think they have the wrong guidance right now. As the head coach is just a little too young for this situation. That's the one thing that keeps like hitting me right across the damn head. That it just looks to me like McDaniel is way in over his head. And that's the part that kind of leaves out, of the doubt of, can he fix this? Don't forget, we are going to have a shooting contest Wednesday, January 31st, right here at Top Gun Indoor Range. Okay? See the address right there, 12015 Southwest 114th Street. We're going to have some giveaways, some prizes for the winner, of course. So make sure you join us. And I will bring T-shirts. Everybody that participates in the shooting contest, I will give them a T-shirt. So come on out. 12015 Southwest 114th Place. Top Gun Indoor Range. Wow. Oh, the interrupters sound like Green Day. No. I mean, there are some elements, and that's because Green Day has punk in them, and Interrupters has punk in them, and so, and both have rock, but I can see I Gave You Everything, where you would say that it sounds something like that, but I know you won't find a friend. I think it's called Find a Friend or something. A Friend Like Me, I think it's called. Stuff like that doesn't sound anything like Green Day. So it all depends. Like I know their catalog really well, and especially Into the Wild. Oh my God, the music there is the variety of Into the Wild was outstanding. What they did. And so I can pick a couple songs, She's Kerosene might sound a little-ish like it. I think I Gave You Everything sounds more like Green Day, but there's a lot of music of theirs that doesn't sound anything like Green Day, So this is my family, my one crazy family. That song, that's nothing like Green Day. You know what I mean? They have a nice variety to their music, actually, if you listen to it. I love the Interrupters. I think they're fantastic. Is this season make or break for both McDaniel and Greer? Definitely for McDaniel, and it'll affect Greer. But I love what Greer, McKenzie, and Allen have done with personnel. I do. They've just got to fix the coaching part. And I know as much as I like them personnel-wise, I have to be fair here. It's not going to be a good look on them if they fail with McDaniel, because you got to hire your two coaches and it didn't work out. It's tough, man. It's tough to find a coach. It's either you bring in a retread, or you try to find the up-and-coming coach that's the right guy. Look at LaFleur and what they've been able to do there in Green Bay. They've turned over the roster, and now they're headed in the right direction. Tough. Let's see. McDaniel needs to give up play calling and hand it over to Frank Smith. He may have more feel for the game. He may, or he may be a disaster. That's the problem, the unknown to it all. Just listen to McDaniel. Of course, he's a nerdy geek. Hate to make the next step in grounding himself in football. I don't know what that. You're kind of confusing me with all that stuff. Let's see, what else do we have here? Big O, is that silhouette a replica of Mike McDaniel with the bullseye on his back for the 2024 season? Yeah, that's McDaniel right there. Right? No, here. Right there. Boom. McDaniel with the spot on the back. Sean hammering is the gun hammering. Yeah, Sean is emptying out chambers left and right over there. He's practicing for the shooting contest. That's the thing. He needs a little practice. He says he was a little rusty. So there he is right now practicing. That's it. What are you going to do? Tiesto at Ultra Circle 2007 was the third best time of my life, says Noel Dow. What the hell is a stock portfolio? Yeah, what is a stock portfolio? I only know crypto portfolio. I was laughing. What was it? I was listening to Tobin and Leroy, and I was in the car, and I don't know what it was, something about crypto, and Leroy goes to Tobin like, "Are we still doing this? Like, like does crypto even exist?" And I'm laughing my ass off because I love hearing people like that because they don't realize that their entire lives will be run by tokenization because everything is headed that way. But it's good. It's good. It's good to have that because you kind of need that healthy debate, and then people will then experience it for themselves, and then they'll realize, oh, I should have understood this earlier. That kind of stuff. So it's good. More heavy snow is headed for Buffalo. So apparently a lake effect snow warning has been put out in place through Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, with 1 to 3 feet expected and possibly local accumulations of more than 4 feet. Winds also will gust up to 40 miles an hour, creating snow drifts and whiteouts. The good news is no snow is in the forecast for Sunday, with the only morning snow expected on Saturday. The bad news is that unless the plan is to offer something more than $20 an hour or free cocoa and whatever, yeah, okay. So they'll have to clean out the stadium. Again, Buffalo idiots, build a stadium with a roof, you morons. That way you can hold events, even in the winter. And then game time, you can still have your game and open up the roof right before game time. That way you don't have to shovel out a bunch of snow. And people will get injured, or you don't have to bring in a whole bunch of drunks to, shovel snow. Did you see those people shoveling snow? They looked like a bunch of 10-year-olds playing with snow. That's what happened. Big O, watch out. Sean doesn't get you a T-shirt with a bullseye on the back. Oh, he already did. Big O, where the hell are you, man? You can't read? What's around me? GP Trap. What does it say above me and around me? What's behind me? You can't tell where I'm at? You haven't seen us here for the last couple of months? Yeah, we're at Hialeah Park. Big O, you're going to have triple XL shirts for the big winner. I don't know if I have any triple XL left. Only made a few of those. Didn't make a ton of the triple XL. I think I have I got a bunch of double XLs and XLs and large and medium and small, but I don't know if we have any triple XLs left, to be quite honest. So you may have to stretch it out a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a couple of triple XLs. Let's see what else. He's very much against crypto. That's fine. That's funny. It's good. It's good. It's good to know. So if I ever run into him in a couple of years, I'll just say, like a lot of other people that I will be doing it to and laughing at them, because they don't really get it. But that's cool. Most people don't. That's understandable. This is the most I've heard Sean talk during a show. Well, I mean, listen, bro. He lets his guns do the talking. If Frank Smith wants to leave, let him go and promote Bevel to the new offensive coordinator, play caller. Thoughts? see, here's the thing. You guys, it's up to the coach. First of all, we don't even know if Frank Smith will be a good play caller. So if we want Frank Smith to do it instead of Mike McDaniel, he might be worse than Mike McDaniel, or might be the same, or he might be better. And if we want Darrell Bevell to do it, but Darrell Bevell also has to be the QB coach too. So if we want Darrell Bevell to do it, now he may have more experience at this. So you might be onto something, but the end-all, be-all on this, will McDaniel be willing to give up play calling? I don't think so. From everything I've seen so far in 2 years, he really wants to be this. So you're not shooting anymore? What are you doing?
No, it's a good break. It's a good break to come back and say Bevel is the one that made the call to throw instead of run with Marshawn Lynch. Keep that in mind.
Right. Exactly. Bevel in the Super Bowl made the call to run to pass instead of run with Marshawn Lynch. So we really don't know that the next guy is going to be any better or worse than Mike McDaniel or the same shit. We have no idea. By the way, the next person in line would be Frank Smith, not Darrell Bevell. And I don't think Frank Smith is getting a job. They're not hiring him as a head coach yet, especially after the offense has kind of sputtered, because they might blame him also along with McDaniel. It's great experience for Frank, and God bless him, dude. You got to take those interviews, because that prepares you for the day you are ready and you know exactly how to go about those interviews. So it's really important to go on those interviews, but I don't think he's going to get the job when it's all said and done. Steven says, oh, it's a strip club. Those sounds and target papers are a decoy. Exactly. Sean is playing 007. Yep. 007 has nothing on Sean. And by the way, the Yellowstone people, why are they going after Pierce Bronson for going to a place he went? Did they not see Dante's Peak? What's wrong with the people in Yellowstone going after Pierce Bronson because he went to some spring he wasn't supposed to? Did you watch Dante's Peak? He's more than experienced with anything that may happen at Yellowstone. Or if you're with Yogi at Jellystone. Come on. If you didn't see Dante's Peak, then, that's a disrespect to Pierce Bronson. Plus, he's also 007. So if anybody can trespass, and he's going to be able to get away with it, and if anything, some kind of natural disaster happens, there's nobody better to get out of there than Pierce Bronson. All you got to do is watch Dante's Peak, and then you know what I'm talking about. So, authorities there in Yellowstone, let's go. Leave 007 alone, bro. Frankie Fresco, AEW Wednesday. Samoa Joe or Hook? Well, the Samoan Sniper did not come through for us this year. He threw too many interceptions and didn't play well in the playoff game. So he's a little disappointed. So I'm going to say Samoa Joe is going to pick up where Tua did not, and he's going to finish the job. And in honor of Tua, Samoa Joe is going to win and beat Hook's ass. So I'm going Samoa Joe tonight, AEW, and doing it for Tua. Okay? And then Tua will ask for his leotard. We good? What do I get? A thumbs up or I got 2 thumbs up from Sean. Wow. Damn. Feel like I'm definitely going to lose. We need a star tight end to change the too high coverage. Yes, it's coming. I'm convinced they will get a tight end this year. Oh, what's your gut tell you about what's going to happen in Dallas and Philly? Oh, they're firing the coach in Dallas. But I have a hard time believing Belichick. Like, why would Belichick work for that guy? And then the Philly thing, it's funny how nobody ever says that Jalen Hurts regressed. But I'm kind of confused there. How much do I blame Sirianni? How much do I blame what's going on with the quarterback and the offense? Because at times, it was like that offense was kind of figured out or something. It was weird. The last few weeks, the way that team, they had so much success. I don't know if I would change Sirianni. He's young. I'd give him a chance. McCarthy, I've seen that story before. Plus, come on, I'm talking about Jerry Jones, Discipline, Big O. How many play after play? Wilkins lined up in the neutral zone game after game. Yeah, no, it's the team has no discipline, unfortunately, with Mike McDaniel. That's the sad part. You think the Dolphins should go after Zach Ertz? Dude, I would have liked Zach Ertz to finish out the season for a couple of weeks, but Zach Ertz is not a player you can count on, my man. He can play the game, but he's already been in the league for years, and he's got a ton of injuries, and he never holds up. I need you to draft somebody or try to trade for somebody that's relatively young. You know what I'm saying? But Zach Ertz is a fill-in guy, not a guy that I would use to count on, because I don't think you can count on him to play a whole season. That's the screwed up part. All right, we are out of here. We thank Matt Verderame. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank all of you that tuned in. As always, if you send in a super chat, thank you. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo anytime you're watching or listening. I guess I missed that super chat. What was that super chat there? Let me see. I'm going to check my Cash App or Venmo just in case. Carlos Yanis. Big O, if McDaniel doesn't succeed, do you believe Greer also needs to go? Wow. I love Greer, McKenzie, and Allen, bro. I love what they're doing talent-wise. I really do. I think you just have the wrong coach. I think it's harder to find the talent. I got to see where I'm at in another year, and then we'll address it. But at the moment, I don't want to get rid of my personnel department. I like the personnel department a lot. Okay, I am really concerned that they have not been able to find a head coach. That is a concern. That I tell you, it's a concern. Let's hope that McDaniel can figure it out, man. That one's tough. So, what are you going to do? All right, we thank you all out there. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button and hit the notification bell. We'll see you all tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock live at Hialeah Park.